Good evening, wonderful people of YouTube. Welcome to tonight's 40k show. And I know it's not Monday, is it? It's a different day. We're doing it on Tuesdays. There's some reasons for this. We spoke in Discord earlier. I put an announcement out about when we're looking to run the 40k streams in the future. And there's reasons that my children do Taekwondo. I wouldn't mind giving it a bash in the future as well. If I do these streams on Tuesdays and ask Steve very nicely to move the Vanguard Tactics battle reports to Mondays, I can do that. I can do all of it. It's better work-life balance with family stuff, etc. So we put a sort of announcement question stroke poll up in Discord and asked people. And most people said, yeah, Tuesdays is good. So I thought we'd move the 40k show to Tuesdays. It's also partly because yesterday I was rough as a badger's arsehole, and I was in bed before the stream was even due to start. So Luce will tell you I was in bed by about 9:15. And I think I was asleep by about 9:45, and I think I slept for about 10 and a half, 11 hours. So
we were going to talk about what army I was going to play.
We were going to talk about our feelings and stuff, yeah. So I ended up crashing out and going to sleep for 10 hours. And so today I feel a little bit better. You might be able to hear my voice might go a little bit. I was at the Factorum all weekend playing a GT. With all the VT team, etc. Brom came as well. It was great, but the building was absolutely fucking freezing, so I don't really have any heating. And I'd been feeling slightly under the weather for a week, and I think a whole weekend of late nights, early mornings and no heating meant that my body just gave up yesterday. And Luce will tell you I was an absolute wreck. Sat here feeling very sorry for myself, moaning because I had the man flu. However, we're back today, because I can't miss a stream, right? I can't do that. That's not able to happen. It's not allowed to happen. I need to turn up. Chat lady. Mr. Svenholio celebrating 3 months. 3 months of great stuff. Keep it coming. Thanks, mates. Thanks so much. So I thought we would do 40k show on Tuesdays. So hopefully you guys will like these on a Tuesday instead. Battle reports will still be Wednesdays. Beer and Banter or Mead and Mayhem, whichever you want to call it, will still be going ahead on Fridays. It's just we're moving this one. And if you still want Monday content, then you can come and hang out on the Vanguard Tactics Battle Report streams. I think the first one will be the Monday after the 7th of December, I think. Don't quote me on this one. Only simply because that's when Steve gets the internet installed in his brand new shiny studio.
Whatever works for you, we are all willing to watch later if things claw.
Depths Walker, thank you so much for the super chat. You're absolute legend, and thank you for the kind comment as well. Much appreciated. So yeah, Steve's battle reports will be on the Mondays. And if you don't know about his new studio, if you go check him out, if you go check out the Vanguard Tactics on Instagram, he's got a nice picture of it. So it looks really, really cool. So yeah, that's the plan. That's why we're doing this on a Tuesday as well. But it does work better for. I think it works better for both of us than at least, to be honest. So
well, Wednesdays is my day off, so it means that if we do get to bed at 11:30 and we're tired from Taekwondo, it is actually a lion in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing as well. Taekwondo, currently I go to Steve's to stream on a Tuesday, and poor old Luce cycles the kids down to Taekwondo in the blistering rain and all sorts because you don't drive.
Go back to bed, and I'm glad you're feeling better, and also hot chocolate for Lucy.
Why does she get the hot chocolate?
Am I not worth a hot chocolate?
You are worth a hot chocolate, but I want one too. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lehman, your hero. I'm alright, honestly. We're going to do an hour tonight on stream. And we're going to talk to you all for an hour. I've got a topic that's a really easy topic to talk about, quite frankly. So this is we're here, right? Deal with it. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. Fabius Bile,
deal with it.
thanks for celebrating being a member for 4 months. Good evening all in chat. Yeah, welcome, dude. Welcome. So yeah, so that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. So from now on, if you want to watch the 40k show, it's going to be on Tuesdays instead. Okay? Tuesdays. From right in the diaries, I'll give you a minute. Cool? Good. Okay. So tonight's topic is 40k currently a mess, and how do we fix it? Now, the reason why I picked this topic is because I was at an event this weekend, at the Factorum event, the GTO. This is the 4th or 5th Factorum event I've done. It might be the 5th. I think it might be the 5th Factorum event I've done. And there's an interesting sort of pattern going on. And I don't know if everyone has noticed this. I don't know if this is common across all events. Factorum's a super chill, super friendly tournament. And typically, the type of people that arrive at Factorum and come and play are those kinds of people. As well, we don't typically get the bad apples at that event, which is really nice. It's quite small and it's quite close-knit, so it's great. However, we have seen over the last 3 or 4 events some of those lists that exist.
Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy.
Thank you for the super chat. Also, a big shout out to Orion20 or Orion220 celebrating being a member for 3 months. Okay, Tuesday,
Hot
good. I'm glad you got it.
chocolates and whiskey all around.
Thanks, Christian, for that. Hot chocolates and whiskey. Now we're talking whiskey. Whiskey fixes everything. So thank you so much. And a big shout out to Des and Des celebrating being a member for 1 month. Says he can't stop long, but enjoy your stream. Thanks, Des, you hero. So yeah, so there's some of those lists appear, and it got me thinking. You fuckers aren't going to let me actually talk about my topic at all, aren't you? Thank you, Tim, for the judo chop. So it got me thinking, right? Is 40k a complete mess? And I was sat there looking at some of the things that have happened over the course of the last few events. So at this event, there was a pretty oppressive AdMech list, which was interesting to say the least. Last event before the sort of new FAQ nerf, there was a specific orc list, which was buggies and planes. Is auto win. We've seen some pretty horrendously strong Drakari builds, and we did moments after the new NID books or some of the NID stuff come up with a few people with lots of Hive Guard. It wasn't typically the most broken NID list because people probably hadn't had time to react to the new book, but they were there. They were at the event, and it got me thinking. 40k, I think it is a mess at the moment, but what is the biggest problem? And this is why I'm bringing this up as a stream topic, because I'm always interested to hear what you guys think about these kinds of topics. So originally what I was going to call the stream was, did stratagems and command points ruin 40k? Because it was never balanced beforehand, but it's harder to balance with stratagems in mind. So a unit is as effective as a unit is on its datasheet. A unit is as effective as it is with the rules that it has. However, when you then layer on multiple stratagems because they have a core keyword or they have a this keyword or they have a that keyword, they then become significantly more powerful than they were just on their plain datasheet. And so how do you point that, and how do you point that effectively? So that's something that, you know, is I was going to go down that route of stratagems and CPs ruining in 40k because you can't effectively balance points. Some people would have loads of CP and be able to use that stratagem loads and they get more mileage for their points, and some people wouldn't use it at all, and blah 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 blah. And add that into the sort of the whole pool or the whole stirring pot of it, making it more complicated, because not only do you need to know your unit and its datasheet, but you need now to know the stratagems, and you need to know the relics and the warlord traits and the keywords and all that kind of stuff. And then I got thinking, well, maybe it's keywords that's caused some of the issue, because keywords are relatively new, and we didn't have keywords before.
Poopa Gunt marking rolling on the floor, laughing 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 rolling on the floor.
I think it was supposed to say marking, to be fair.
Laughing rolling on the floor, laughing rolling on the floor.
Charlie's doing a lot of laughing on the floor, rolling,
Mission
laughing.
variety.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the super chat, both of you. Thanks, Dave. Dave, that's something else I think is interesting as well. Also, big shout out to Minx50 for celebrating being a member for 3 months. Late's at work for 2 weeks. Glad to catch a stream. Big shout out to Jaleo Nothing for being a member for 3 months. Does this mean it will now be Taco Tuesdays? I don't really do tacos. And then a big shout out to Bolt Rifles. Where is your gift? Hope you're feeling better. I think it might be eating that gift that caused the problems, John. I might have got infantry.
Got a question as I've got an upcoming tournament. Can heavy weapons teams shoot out of a Stormlord?
I have no idea.
What was your gift?
I assume so. John is the infanteer, and he gave me a little box on Saturday, and I opened it, and inside that little box was 4 crayons. So he'd basically bought me an infanteer's snack. That's what he'd bought me. So yeah, so then I went down the route of keywords, and are keywords the problem? And then I looked at some of these oppressive lists that have come, the AdMech lists and the orc lists. And what I found, which was quite interesting, is and when we look pre-FAQs and pre-balanced data sheets and stuff like that, is actually there's a whole combination of things. Some of it is keywords, and for example, Iron Striders and AdMech having the core keyword was a really bad choice and really imbalanced them. Some of it is stratagem uses, and some of the stratagems that people can stack on top of each other to make it a unit of something stupidly, insanely powerful, because they get to fire more times and they get +1 this and +1 that and +1 something else. Some of it is just core datasheet supreme strong points not right. So the datasheet says it can do X, Y, and Z, and actually the points are so low that you don't seem to think that, you know, they're pointed effectively. And so the whole of 40k is a bit of a mess. So I ask you, chat, like, what do we do to fix it? Do we strip out individual rules for data sheets? Do we go back down the route of universal special rules and make data sheets super simple? Do we strip out stratagems? Do we reduce the number of stratagems? Do we make stratagems universal and only a couple of stratagems per faction? Do we ditch keywords? Do we keep keywords and keyword interactions? Or do we go back to chapter masters affect all units within 6 inches? What do we do to simplify 40k, to fix it, to make it less messy and arguably make it easier to balance? That's the question I have for you. That's what I want to know. Because actually, honestly, this is interesting for a 40k show as well. I don't really know what the answer is. I've got a couple of ideas as to what I would do, but I want to hear what you guys say first.
Have a few pages in the back of the tournament pack with strats in for every army to use and scrap the rest.
Good shout, Nobody Epic, for £5. Thank you very much for super chat. That's part of what I'm thinking as well with stratagems. They're far too mental.
Tuesdays, dice and dudes Wednesdays, mead and mayhem Fridays.
Christian with all the names. Thanks so much, Christian, for all the names. So stratagems, that's an interesting one. So that's something that I kind of agree with you on straight away, right? So first of all, I don't like the idea of 6 to 8 pages of stratagems per army with supplements, etc. I think that's nonsense. So I would get rid of that altogether. I don't like army-wide stratagems that buff individual units. If that unit is always using that stratagem, always, all the time, no matter what, just make the data sheet better and point the unit slightly higher. Just do that. So it's not a CP, it's not a stratagem. You're using a stratagem, which always means Terminators hit on 2s. Just make Terminators hit on 2s and point them slightly higher, or whatever it might be. You're using a stratagem that always means a unit of Hive Guard can fire twice. Just make them fire twice, double the amount of shots, point them slightly higher, right? That's what we do. Ben sorry I'm late, missed much. Not yet, you haven't, no.
Martin Waller, what's wrong with it? People. People are what's wrong with this game. Actually, it's not people, it's virgins. Now, does he mean virgins, or does he mean Warhammer virgins?
I think he means
You're
the
welcome,
first.
Bob, Not, and Bobette.
Honestly, Christian, genuinely messaged a barber friend of mine today, said, what do you think I would look like if I shaved it all off and I went a grade 1 all over? Stop it. Anyway, so stratagems, I think if they took those abilities, just ploughed them onto the data sheet, pointed the unit slightly higher, it stops jankiness, it stops them being effective at some points and not being effective at other points, it stops gotcha moments, it's just there, it's on the data sheet. Good, so do that. Maybe then you get a page of stratagems for the army or for your chapter or whatever. But
shave your hair off, please.
Okay.
Because then I become Shavette, and it just gets confused with Shave It. Because you're Bob Not, I'm Bobette. I
like how you completely innocently said what you just said.
Exactly.
And chat's gonna love that. So, the other thing I would do though, in seriousness, is kind of alluding to what that super chat was, is I would 100% go for more universal stratagems that are in the core rulebook. There's a lot of stratagems that a lot of armies have. Fight twice, being able to fight twice, being able to heroically intervene with a non-something unit. So I'm spitballing clearly, obviously, but a +1 a hit on there, +1 a wound on there. There's lots of stratagems that people have that are pretty common across multiple codexes. Make them core stratagems in the core rulebook. Everybody's got access to them. Again, reduces the gotcha moments. It's just in the core rulebook. And yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea that when you release a new chapter approved, you can add another 4 stratagems, maybe.
Shave it all off. Winter's doppelganger inbound.
Oh God, no, Tywins. God, no. No. You can't grow a face of fur like this. So that's one of the first things I would do. I agree with you on stratagems, which is interesting. Take stratagems that are used all the time, improve the core rules of the individual data sheet that they're always sort of consistently applied to, point the unit slightly higher, scrap the stratagem, get rid of it. Job done. Don't need the keyword, you don't need the interaction, you just make the unit better, increase the points. Simpler, more easy to understand, easy to point the unit, therefore more balanced. Okay, because the stratagems, do you point the unit taking the stratagem into consideration? Or do you point the unit not taking the stratagem into consideration? Hive Guard. Do you point the Hive Guard so that, considering that they'll shoot once out of line of sight with their stupid strength 8 weapons that now have all the buffs? Or do you point the Hive Guard with the ability, the stratagem ability to fire twice? How'd you get that balance right? It's really hard, right? I think it's really, really hard. Anyway, so that's the first thing I would do. I would also like to, on that same note, on that same vein, I would like to standardise certain rules interactions. So I don't mind a narrative paragraph per data sheet, we've spoken about this before, that tells you how it is that this unit can come into Deep Strike Reserve, whether it's a drop pod, a Trigon, a Custodian Terminator, whatever it might be. I don't mind a little narrative paragraph that tells you that this is what happens narratively when this unit arrives from reserves. But then it will just refer to a USR, which is Deep Strike. We used to have this, 7th edition before, we used to have this. But it just means that everybody knows that their rule interacts the same way. And you don't get an army that has rule A and another army that has rule B. And those rules are kind of the same, but not quite the same. And then we need clarification on how they interact with each other. If you just both point to the same rule and then give it a blanket, the player whose turn it is, or the player who's going first, gets first choice of doing this interaction, whatever it might be, pre-game moves, etc. You remove any ambiguity about, well, your rule's actually worded differently, so it's applied slightly. It's just removed it. You both do the same thing. Because typically these rules will do the same thing anyway, a lot of these things, right? So get rid of that, and I think make them a universal special rule. And I don't want to go down the route of having 16 USRs. I don't want to go down that route. That's not what I want, because there's too many and it gets too complicated. But at least if I know if a unit's got rending or stealth, the old USRs, I knew what it meant and I knew what they did, and I didn't need someone to explain it to me. Now imagine standing opposite someone with the Admet Codex right now and they start talking to you about their canticles.
I hear you've all been looking for me.
Well, but not.
Is that you?
No, that's a real person.
It's not a real person.
It
It's not a. Someone has gone and changed their name on purpose. That's not a real person. Thank you for the super chat.
Someone in the world is called Robert Knott.
Thank you for the super chat. That's not a real person. So yeah. So back to USRs. It just means that you don't. And USR, Universal Special Rule, that you don't have any of these gotcha members. Like I said, Admech, right? I'm going to stand opposite the table with you and Admech Codex. We talked about canticles, doctrinas, imperatives. I'm going to talk to you about Logi and this thing that this thing can do, and this thing that something else can do, and this thing that something else can do, and this thing. And by the time the command phase is finished, you're fucking asleep. And when you finally do wake up,
Sisters 1, game skills you pay for.
Absolutely, Deathswalker, I agree. You eventually you wake up and I say, did you get all that? You go, I haven't got a fucking clue what you're about to do. And then I do something and you just feel bad because you didn't know that's how it worked. It's just janky. I don't like it, right? I'm not a fan of that. Get rid of that nonsense. Essentially, we're keeping the same mechanics. We're not losing. I don't want to necessarily lose the mechanics that currently exist. I'm just looking at simplifying the way in which they're applied so they're clearer to the player. Now, this is also a massive benefit, clearly, for new players as well, right? If a new player comes into the game, he's in a world of... So Luce is actually...
Making us think. What is this?
Sorry, Tim.
Floor,
sorry, we did explain.
We did explain. Rolling on the floor, laughing.
Thank you for the super chat, though, you hero. So Luce and I were talking recently, right? So Luce has got zero interest in painting an army to play on streams. She doesn't want to be on videos, none of that nonsense. But she's thinking about putting an army together to play 40k, so her and I can play 40k because I love to do it. It's my favourite hobby. Luce is a board games fan anyway. No, it's not quite a board game, but still, she's a board game fan. So she's thinking about.
I think we should just adjust the expectations of this community when you say I'm a board game fan.
You like board games? Do you like board games?
Like if like a 3-year-old
maybe host a non-strat CP day and get feedback.
Yeah. But so you like board games?
Not like.
Do you like playing things that aren't computer games? Oh, for fuck's sake! It's a simple question.
I like a deck of cards.
Right. Anyway. After that very fucking pointless interruption, Luce is thinking about playing 40k in the future. Okay, and so she said she doesn't want to play Space Marines, despite the fact that everyone tells her that you should start with Space Marines because they don't sing to her. They're not a model range that she likes that much. So she's going to go. We're going to sit at some point on the GW website. We're going to find something that an army necessarily that she likes that she wants to use and play with in the future. Now, I'm both excited and dreading her playing 40k. I'm excited because it's just something we can do together. We can play 40k. It's another opponent. I think that once Luce gets into it, she'll probably enjoy it. I'm dreading it because teaching this current edition to a brand new player is fucking hard. Like, it's really, really difficult. And I don't think it's difficult because of how many things are going on or how many things can happen necessarily. Like, I think that there is a layer of complexity there. I think it is complex. I think it is difficult in that regard, but I don't think that's what makes it the most difficult. I think what makes it the most difficult is the same rule can be called 12 different things and applied in
Noel
12...
used to bore me to death explaining Tau rules.
Darren, Noel bores everyone to death all the time. It's not just Tau rules. Thanks for the super chat, you hero. So there's 12 different rules that do basically the same thing but are applied slightly differently. That's what makes it dreadful to try and teach to someone. And if you just had your data sheet, that's all you had was your data sheet with your statistics for your unit and your special rules for that data sheet on that unit's data sheet, and that was all you had to use, again, it's quite easy to teach. So when we start, that's all we'll be doing. But then when you start layering in stratagems and command points and you layer in all that extra complexity, that makes it difficult because they've got to know their 6
Sisters
pages.
Of Silence Army. Mute women with gigantic fucking swords. SPW.
She swears.
She does say that word. She does. That's Sisters of Silence Army is a super easy army, right, as well, because there's only 3 types of unit. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, so stratagems, like, you need to know your own individual 6 pages, plus you need to know the ones in the rulebook. It's just complicated. So again, when we start with stratagems, we'll just start with the rulebook ones, because Luce will know exactly what I've got access to, because they'll be the same as the ones she's got access to. So I think that I don't want to change the level of complexity that currently exists in terms of the different layers of strategic playing, the things that units can do. I just want to simplify the way in which it's applied. That's how I would fix 40k on the whole. Simplify the way it's applied. Less books, less bookkeeping, less pages and pages and pages, and move the rules to where they're needed. So I don't want to go, this unit has this special rule in the codex, which takes me to that page, which says I've got that special rule, which also tells me I interact with this that's in the rule book. Just put the fucking rule on the data sheet where I need it. Job done. That's what I want. Okay? That's it. So that's how I'd fix it. What would you do? Do you agree or do you not agree? Let's jump into chat and start chatting to chat. And inevitably, if you're new here, if you've been listening along as a video on demand and you've been listening to what we've been talking about so far, what will happen now is I'll jump into chat. I'll start probably talking about the topic, and before you know it, within 15 minutes we'll be talking about something completely different. But if you do enjoy these and you like these types of videos, we are now doing these every Tuesday at 21:30. We'll also be doing Beer and Banter on Fridays, and every other Wednesday we do a live battle report on YouTube. And if you really love them, think about supporting the stream by becoming a member, !member in the chat. Think about becoming a member, because that's the best way to support the stream specifically. If you want to support me, otherwise you can sub to DZTV or Super Chat. There's lots of other ways, but you members are heroes. And members only night on Friday was amazing, so thank you so much. We gained 6 new members on that Friday, so you're all heroes. I really, really appreciate it. Cool, right. So let's jump into the chat. Let's go after the last super chat, which was from Tywins at the moment.
It's less about learning your army, more understanding all the armies you will face. Hard to know what to do if you don't know them all.
That's something that is the most off-putting thing to me, learning to play 40k.
What do you mean? What's the most off-putting?
That, so Space Marine, it's less about learning your army, more understanding all the armies you will face. Hard to know what to do if you don't know them all. That's the most off-putting thing for me, to learn not only a new game, but then how many books I see you walk into the garage with, and now I have to know my opponents.
I've played Astra Militarum this weekend at the Factorum.
I am teaching our lass with the rules in Imperium.
I haven't seen that yet, Ben, but a lot of people say that they're really good. So thanks to Super Chat, right, your hero. So I went to Factorum and played Guard this weekend, because I've been to Factorum 4 times or 5 times, no, 4 times I think, this year, and I've taken 4 different armies on purpose because I want to keep playing different armies. Now I'm very, very, very lucky, and this isn't a weird flex, I'm just very lucky that I can consume rules and remember them. So I've played Necrons, Death Guard, Harlequins and Astra Militarum at the 4 different Factorum events. But when I went to Factorum to play Guard, I had to take with me the Astra Militarum Codex, the Greater Good Supplement, and one of the newest supplements with extra Acadian rules in to play the army that I wanted to play.
I agree that 40k needs less books. If it was me, I'd get rid of those Xenos and Chaos codexes. Actually get rid of all the non-Space Marine codexes. That way GW can concentrate on making more Space Marine supplements.
Ginger Steve, shouldn't you be on the toilet? Fucking stupid comment. Sound like Valrak, mate. You don't want to be sounding like Valrak. So yeah, I took 3 books just to run guard, and that's messy. It's messy for me as the player. It's messier for my opponent, who then, when I say I've got this strat that can do this, they go, have you? I'm like, yeah, it's in one of these books. I'm sure it is. And it was in one of the books, but I'd have to go and find it. And
I'd be the person that's like, I'll wait.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because I've heard about too much cheating now.
Absolutely. And you'd be right. If you weren't sure that stratagem actually existed, you'd be perfectly within your rights to say, can you just show me that strat? Just so I can read it. You're perfectly within your rights to do that. Absolutely perfectly in your right to do that. And the problem I then have is I know I've seen the stratagem. I've then got to go and fucking find the thing in 3 books. It's just messy. It's messy. Steve is right. Less books. I want every army to have a single codex, and at maximum you have a single supplement which is specifically for your chapter, craft world, dynasty, whatever. None of these campaign supplements, again, I'm all for campaign supplements, right? I don't want to tell you that Warzone Octarius is a shit idea. Warzone Octarius is an amazing idea as a campaign supplement, but then I don't want stratagems and relics and warlord traits in those books. And if you do have them in those books, they are specifically for that campaign only and not for tournament play or standard play. Because then I only need my rulebook, my army codex, and maybe my chapter supplement. That's all I need. That makes it simpler. Again, with what you were saying, Lise, if you push all of the special rules into the main rulebook so that they are a universal rule, and I've got a unit that says I can deep strike, and Luce in her codex has got a unit that says she can deep strike, well, she knows what deep strike means because it's in the main rulebook and her book says she has it. You make that simpler, there's less gotcha moments, there's less confusion. There's less people Steve from VT, he teaches something which is interesting, but I would argue that if you simplify 40k, you don't need it. So he will teach his students, his academy students, to walk up to the table with a set number of questions that they have in their mind. So if they have the set number of questions in their mind, they can ask those questions of their opponent. Their opponent gives them the answers. They can then make their game plan and play the competitive game. Now, we are talking about competitive 40k here, right? This is slightly different to probably what most of us play, but competitively. So say your army relies heavily on invulnerable saves, and it relies heavily on melee. He will ask a couple of questions. First of all, he'll ask, can you turn off my invulnerable saves? Yes. How? Who? And why? The second one would be, can you make me fight last? Yes. Who? How? And why? And he will ask those questions so that he can then formulate his battle plan. Well, what if you didn't need those?
Page 1 of rulebook. Must shower and use deodorant.
Fucking hell. Jesus, Minx. If you release that rule book, we at least half the 40k community straight away, right? So he says to people, you have to ask these questions, and I think to some extent they'll still be required in a newer edition if you simplified it. But how much easier is it if they just say, yeah, I've got this unit which makes you fights last, and the fights last is a rule in the main rule book, and you know what that means. Because at the moment the first fights last interaction is complete absolute mess, right? It is a mess. So you would still maybe need those questions, but you could simplify it. Less gotcha moments. Excuse me, my throat's going. So teaching loose, I'm both dreading it and loving it, and I think I'm going to have to really layer it in. And I think if I have to layer something in that much, and it's not because it's loose, like anyone would be the same. If I have to layer it in that much, then arguably it's a bad rule set and it needs improvement, and it's currently messy. And when I start to teach Luce it, and she'll come on streams, you'll probably hear very quickly about how fucking messy it is.
No, I'm not streaming.
No, you lunatic. I'm not on about putting you on stream. I'm about I teach you on a Sunday, and then we come on stream on a Tuesday, and you go, Jesus fucking Christ, that was a mess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. All the books make me look like I can read, though, so I look smarter. That's a great point, Hamish. That's a great point. Born to lose, live to win. Basics are fine, but yeah, agree. Stratagems, etc. Just feel like I'm missing out on loads of the buffs when playing, trying to make Crusade army with my 10+. I've tried to build armies now with as little command points as possible, just so I can't use stratagems. fuck it. I'll just take extra relics and warlord traits that are permanently active and don't have to worry about stratagems. Don't have to worry about that perfect moment that I could have used. Basics are Gaz says also don't accept PDF versions. Gaz is right. Don't accept PDF versions because people have been known to Photoshop their rules on PDF.
So what if then you turned up to a game and your opponent didn't have the rule book, but they said, no, I've got
If
my
page
PDF.
2 is remove snacks from beard, I am done.
Can you say,
Amazing.
if you
Thanks,
don't
Mike.
have the rule book, I'm not playing?
I think events, this is my personal opinion, events should insist, and I mean insist, that you have a copy of your army's codex with you. If you do not have a copy of the codex or the supplemental rules, you cannot use the rules in that book. That is my personal opinion. A lot of people will hate me for that because that means they've got to spend more money, but I think that should be a rule. If you want to bring Army A and you don't have Army A's codex, you should not be allowed to bring Army A. Full stop. Because then when your opponent says, can you show me the rule you're talking about, how can you guarantee that they're actually telling you the rule correctly? You can't unless you've got the officially printed rules. That's my personal preference. Ginger Steve has just celebrated being a Thane, which means he's a big dick bastard, for 5 months. Thank you so much, Ginger Steve. When I played against Manny, he explained all his AdMech units as if they were Space Marine rules and how they differ. Most opponents can't do that, but it was an incredible thing for him to do, so I understood what was happening. I mean, that's Manny going above and beyond Steve as well. Manny Kima, if you guys don't know who Manny Kima is one of the top players in the UK. He sat quite high up in the ITC rankings. I think he's maybe ranked 2nd or 3rd in the UK, I can't remember. Exceptional player. Brom's had his pants pulled down by him in the past and also said he was an exceptional player to play against because he was just so clear about what he was doing. But you're right, a lot of people can't do that. Like, a lot of people can't say this is like your X unit. And a lot of people have commented about how they quite like playing with myself at events simply because I played Necrons today and he went, do you know what my army does? I was like, yep, all of it. But that's super rare. That's really, really rare. So for Manny to do that is impressive because he doesn't need to either, unless you ask specific questions. So he's an absolute gent for doing it. And I think that some of the better players out there will be completely clear as to what they do and how they do it. It doesn't necessarily stop them from absolutely decimating you, right? But it's still a thing. I want my books to be as heavy as my army so I can work out both arms equally. Paolo, that's a fair point. Unless you've got like an old metal Mordian army like Mordian John, then you're fucked. Warlord traits and relics are part of the problem too. I agree. Maybe there's too many of those as well. Something tells me Luce will be savage when it comes to What if, right? What if a warlord trait was tied to a data sheet? Okay, so what if Space Marine captains were tied to Rights of War and lieutenants were tied to Storm of Fire, and what if psychic powers were tied to librarians? So a standard librarian had Psychic Fortress and Null Zone, and a what's the other guy? The Phobos lieutenant was tied to this one and that one, and you know, what if you tied them all and there was no choice? Better or worse? Let me know. Something tells me Luce will be savage when it comes to 40k. They think you're going to be absolutely brutal, Luce.
Probably.
Take no prisoners, no mercy style.
Probably.
You should see her playing Monopoly.
Well,
Some armies need their strats to play well. I play narrative and tried to compete, never do very well. You won a game, didn't you, at the weekend? With your knights? They're very pretty knights as well. You're on, so, you know.
I'm going to go onto the Warhammer website and start looking.
You're going to start looking at army. We're going to do this live, are we?
I'm going to see which one's the prettiest.
Oh, good. Steve says CP for VP. I would argue if you use all your CP for regular reasonable items like Wurgo upgrades, you don't need the rest. I would rather spend a CP for a warlord trait or a relic that allows me to reroll ones, for example, and then get that every single phase, rather than save it for one stratagem that I might get to use once, maybe, possibly, in the right scenario. I know many top players who don't bring codexes to tournaments. No. See, I would stop. I don't think that's right. I mean, I guess if they're top players, but still, I don't think that's right. There's too many. Again, there's a couple of occasions now where individuals have been known to doctor their rules on PDF as well. So, I would never accept PDFs. Try teaching her 8th edition to start. That way she gets the basics and then move to 9th edition after a few games. I'm just going to use the rulebook. I'm going to use 9th edition rulebook to start with. Nothing more. No terrain rules. Just 9th edition rulebook and basic data sheets. That's all we're going to do.
Where am I looking?
What do you mean, where are you looking?
Like,
So click on Warhammer 40k,
Okay.
and then on the left-hand side, you'll see all the armies. Scroll down a couple, and you'll see like Xenos armies, Imperium armies, Chaos armies. You got it? Hang on, people.
Yeah, I can see it. Those 3?
So that's the 3. If you click on the drop-downs, there's 4 as well, Space Marines above. You've got different factions. Click on the faction,
Okay, that one.
and it will bring up all the armies' units.
Okay.
There we go. We've got looking at units. Cool. It's a good start. Shh, don't.
That one, it looks like it's got willies on it.
What are you looking at?
It does.
What-
does.
What are you looking at?
Adepta Sororitas.
The Adepta Sororitas,
Oh, for crying out loud.
the Sisters of Battle.
Honestly, it looks like there's penises.
There's
on
not. That's like a
thing.
giant organ. Not that kind of organ either.
Well, that's debatable.
I would love to get playing in a tournament, but I am put off as I don't get the chance to play often, so I feel like a bit of constant disadvantage this week at Belper will be 3rd game of this edition. Will, that's a shame. Actually, at Factorum, it's typically proven quite good for new players. I mean, they tend to lose more than they win, but it's quite friendly. So find the right kind of tournament, because if you end up in an event that's like a hyper competitive one, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But if you can find something like Factorum locally, I don't know where you're based, if you can find something like Factorum locally where it's quite friendly and it's quite easy for new players. I've played lots of new players at Factorum. I played a new player 2 games ago. What was it? I was using Death Guard. So 2 or 3 tournaments ago, I played a brand new player. Never played before, really. First event. And I was the 2nd or 3rd game against this person. And after about half an hour, I realised it was their first ever tournament. They didn't really know what they were doing. I got rid of CP, stopped using stratagems, stopped using warlord traits and relics, and just played the basic game against them, just so they could learn. If you can find that kind of event, you're in for a winner. Too many FAQs and changes during editions. It was rare back in the day.
How was the grudge match versus bolt rifles? Who won?
Too many FAQs and changes. Thanks for the super chat, Brian. Too many FAQs and changes during editions. It was rare back in the day. You get the rules right first time, or exchange codexes for free during each edition and show some respect for the players. Minkster, I don't necessarily disagree with you there. Actually, that's it's an interesting point, right? Games Workshop. A lot of people say they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. So previously they didn't do lots of updates, and people significantly seriously criticise them for it. You're not balancing your game. You're releasing it broken. You're leaving it broken, and we've got to fucking play with a broken rule set. Now they're heavily updating and FAQing their edition, and then they're getting slammed for you're updating it too fast, and they seem to be unable to find a happy medium. Now, if they had a perfectly working, really user-friendly and usable app, not like the current mess they've got, they could get away with the current update and rule sets simply because they would update the app alongside, and that would make it acceptable, I think, because the app's updated for free, and if you paid for your codex and you got the book code, you'd get that. But the app is clunky, it doesn't work, it's missing lots of rules. They can't do that yet. I get it, they need to balance it better at the start. And they're getting there, they are getting better. Toys to Toyko says, where is Factorum? It's in Warminster. So, Brian, back to your super chat. You're a hero for super chatting. So, I played John Bolt Rifle's first game, and I took 11 of my finest Astra Militarum tanks to Factorum. Now, I didn't take Harlequins, because John had basically begged me not to take them because he really wanted to win Best in Faction for Harlequins. Please, Liam, don't take Harlequins, because if you do, I can't win Best in Faction. So I went and found a different army. I borrowed Michael Costello, who's part of the VT team's AdMech. Beautiful army. Really nicely painted. I went, just fucking give me loads of tanks and we'll run that. Why not? Because a lot of people say tanks can't work. So I took the tanks and I drew my first game against John and his Harlequins that I know very, very well because I've helped him with his list, which happens to have 15 haywire bikes and 4 boats full of fusion pistols. So he's playing the big dick because he won after I helped him get the 100 points because he almost overkilled and failed to get his kill more. Well, I can't remember what it's called now, is it? It's whatever that fucking secondary's called. But he was the hardest counter there for the list. So, you know, in fact, actually, let's quickly have a look at something. Because if I remember rightly, John, I think we were right next to each other in the points as well. Roster placings. So you were 1 point above me, John, after you pulled my pants down in the first game with the hardest counter to my list. You were 1 point above me. 1. I took guard with tanks. Grind them down. Thanks, Brian, your hero. That's the one. So, yeah. John, however, is absolutely a legend. He's a hero. I love the guy. He takes the piss out of me every stream. I rip him back for it, but he is a legend. Him and Brian were both at Factorum this weekend. You guys are both awesome. I hope to see you at more events in the future. So, all joking aside, it was a pleasure to play and chat to both of you again. So, anyway. Where are we? How did the gate... Was that rain outside?
Yeah, it's rain.
Jesus fucking Christ. Lucy found hidden penises in the sororitas. Apparently, yeah. So
They're not even hidden.
Liam, you on top chat or live chat? I'm on live chat, mate. I'm always on live chat. Always on live chat. Luce should play Minotaurs. Why should Luce play Minotaurs, Christian? Why should he? She. I don't get why they just don't release fluff art hobby books of factions and slap all rules in an app, which can be... We done fucked up, boys. Polished. I love that comment. Yeah, I heard that. I love that comment. I want to take my Krieg next Factorum GT. Honestly, the guard did some work. When I didn't come up against a supremely hard counter, the guard did some serious work. So I played games 2, 3, and 4. I won all 3 of those. Games 5, I was at that point in 8th place or 7th place or something. And I played quite a tuned Death Guard list, and I think he beat me by 10 points. Otherwise, I'd have been up in the top sort of 5. So
Mr. Box and the Spider are play testers now, right? Maybe wait until their input to the rules before demanding changes?
So, Yeston, Spider's been a playtester since the start of 9th. So, Lawrence has always been a playtester. Steve started playtesting in around January, and me and Brom and that started playtesting around March. I can categorically tell you with some... without breaking any NDAs, that codexes that both Steve and myself have worked on aren't out yet. So you're right. There are changes that will be coming because they're now playtesters. Well, myself and Steve are now playtesters specifically. Like I said, Lawrence has been a playtester right from the start. Lawrence, I think, was a playtester for 9th edition, as were the Titans crew. So I don't disagree with you on the Steve Box front, because I know that a lot of the stuff that he's worked on, that has come out that's around FAQs and updates have been very, very positively received. And the codexes specifically that he's worked on, I don't think they're out yet. So, it's a good shout, mate. Absolutely a good shout. Thanks for the super chat, your hero. So all I heard from Liam is that he lost. I mean, ultimately that's the fact, guys. I did get beat by John.
I think I've got a favourite little model.
Okay. What army?
I don't know.
What's it look like?
He's called the Big Mech.
So orcs.
Oh, yeah.
You like orcs?
I did read
Tips
about...
within, tips without.
There you go. I love the fact that you just chuck those in with a random phrase. You're a hero. Thank you. Thank you so much. Go on.
I did read about one character in the first book I tried reading, that he collects stuff. He's a hoarder type. And I made fun of him because I was like, oh, he's like when people leave a fridge in the front garden.
Wasn't that...
It mysteriously goes.
Weren't you reading the Heresy series?
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be relevant.
Oh.
That's 30k. This is 40k. I want to take my World Eaters to Factorum GT. Do it, Lehman. You're a fucking hero. Christian says because Minotaurs are beautiful.
Titanic?
I genuinely don't understand the Games Workshop decision not to release all codices at the same time. Why drip feed? Money, Space Marine. That's why. Money. You release 20 codexes at once, there'll be people out there that can only pick one at that point in time. You drip feed codexes over time, well, that same person may pick up 2 or 3. They do it that way because it's better for their sales. Ultimately, it's a better sales technique to drip feed the codexes. Umbra says, sorry, finally here. You should be sorry. You should be. Might be worth mentioning, being a playtester doesn't necessarily mean Games Workshop will take their advice. It doesn't mean they take our advice now. We have said things to James Workshop in the past, and they've gone, yeah, we're not doing that.
Are you drinking?
No, I should be. Pip says, will you be able to say I worked on this one after the first one you worked on comes out? We are allowed to say whether we did work on one. We are not allowed to say whether we did or didn't agree with any of the changes or rules. Not allowed to say that. Not allowed to say we disagreed with that, but they put it in there anyway. We're not allowed to say that. I mean, I'll fucking probably just say it anyway, but... do playtesters have to be British? No, Tabletop Titans are playtesters. There's a lot of playtesters over in... I say a lot. There's a few playtesters over in the States as well, so... you typically have to be well known in the community for certain reasons to be able to be a playtester, whether that's YouTubing or highly competitive player, etc. But not anyone can be a playtester, unfortunately. Otherwise, we all would be, right? I knew Luce would go orc, says Dave. Minkster, oh no, Luce likes orcs. I hope not. I hope not.
I think they're like, I don't know. Are they the original models or?
Some of them are.
Yeah, I think that's.
Some of them are very, very old. This is an orc. This guy's an orc.
There's one called the Titanic.
What? There's not.
Yeah. It says Titanic and then it says Stomper.
Yeah, so he's called a Stomper. He's not called Titanic. Titanic is the type of unit that he is.
It says Titanic.
He's a Titanic unit, yeah. I can paint this one up for you then. I can paint Gaz for you.
Well, I don't know. I don't want them painted. I'm not.
I have to paint this one anyway because Instagram said so. So you can just use this one.
You're such a good listener. I'm so lucky.
I'm glad we got that cleared up. Is it really a win if you had to beg someone not to bring something that they would win with? That's between you and John, Brian. I'm not going to get involved in that one, mate. Luce needs to look at AOS. Oh, I don't play AOS at the moment yet, though. What out sounds like Luce is looking at Titanicus. What out sounds like... No, she's not looking at Titanicus. She's looking at Titanic units within the army. When's the last day out the gate? 17th of December, Dave. 17th of December is the full-time start. No, 17th of December is the last day at work. And it's scary, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm currently waiting for Mr. Fox to reply to me on Discord about my World Eaters and also joining the Vanguard Academy. Mr. Fox? You mean Mr. Box? We're going to call him Mr. Fox from now on. Where have you asked him? Let me know. I'll give him a nudge. I'll kick him up the arse. I'm sure I've seen vids. You can't join the academy right now because it's closed, but it's reopening, I think, in January. I'm sure I've seen vids with Spiders lot where they say we suggested X and G-Dubs went with Y. Did I imagine that? Now, you probably saw that because the guidance about what we were and weren't allowed to say only came out a couple of months ago. And I think it was in response to people saying, yeah, we didn't agree with that, so we chinned it. So
Mike Swanson, who is the woman?
Who is the woman? How very aggressive. How very aggressive, Mike. Are you not normally around women? Is that what this is about? This is the first one you've seen. You should open your curtains more.
I feel really bad for him now. If I'm the first one he's seen, we could have done much better.
You need to go out more. You need to open your curtains more. Look outside. There's many of them in the world.
Oh,
many of them.
He wants Jamie.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Happens all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well. Jamie's like ordering a woman on Wish. I love my Titanic models. Everyone loves Titanic models.
Horrible.
Orcs is all about the knobs with big choppers. Yeah. That's why she's gravitated toward orcs. She's seen units called knobs. When you PT, do you often disagree with other PTs during your test cycle? I haven't got a fucking clue what you're talking about, mate. At this point, everything Games Workshop tried to be just a patch as it needs fundamental changes that can only happen through a new edition. I kind of think so, yes. I kind of think that... Guys, I kind of agree with you. There's a lot of patches. I mean, I think this quarterly update... Personally, for me, this quarterly update is a positive step in the right direction. But it is essentially patching. You're right. It is essentially patching. And I think they need to do a lot more to fix the core of 40k, and I think that only really happens with a new edition. But I also don't want a new edition yet because PT. Okay, so playtesting is PT. Right, I'm with you, Simon. Sorry, I thought you were on about actually personal training or physical training.
I thought you did.
I was so lost. I didn't know what you were on about. Sorry, Simon. Thank you very much, Brian, for clearing that up for me. I'm on that one. My bad. So how playtesting works? I can't. I'm not allowed to say exactly how it works. They give us a rule book or a codex to work on. They tell us the codex that's been released in the specialized software that we have access to. They then tell us what it is we have to, as a playtesting team, look at and give feedback on, what the deadline for that feedback is on, and then tell us how to to write that feedback in. We then write that feedback in, they review, they make changes should they feel that they need to, they then re-release and ask us for version 2 feedback, and that happens. There's a bit of a sort of cycle that goes through, and then when they're done, jobs are good. Now, just because I'm a playtester doesn't mean I get to be an active playtester on every book. So they'll pick and choose what they want to send to me and the team, and they'll pick and choose what they send to Steve and the team. I don't get to necessarily give input on everything. I can give input on everything. Again, doesn't mean I listen to it. So it's hard to explain and be within the rules of my NDA. So I've given you the best I can there. So yeah. Morning, people. Are we discussing FOMO yet? I'm definitely not bored of content about that today. What's FOMO? Oh, fear of missing out. Why? Why is this missing out? What's this about? Don't be mean to Luce, you're lovely. Don't be mean, Luce, you're lovely. Oh. Umbra's just being nice to you.
Umbra's always nice.
Yeah. Discord PM is Liam for Mr. Box. Okay, perfect. Okay. I'll give him a nudge then and let him know, but he gets lots of messages. We'll get lots and lots of messages. I'm sure I'll get him to get back to you. I mean, I've started turning notifications off on apps because it was annoying me. That is Winters just all blurred up. Yeah, Winters has grown his hair out and put a green jumper on. It is Winters. He just sounds different. He sounds different on stream. It is Winters.
He's been to one of those spas.
Return to index and full reset. I mean, I'm not against the idea, but I don't necessarily know that they need to do that specifically. My ex's lad is getting the hobby bite. Told her the only lore he needs to know for orcs is the bigger the knob, the higher the rank. That's how men work as well, right? I think they need more playtester and listen to the people who play. I think they do need more playtesters, but I think they need to specifically pick. I think for me personally, they need to have a look at everyone who's playtesters currently in the state of the game, and perhaps have a bit of a shake-up. Personal sort of thought on that one, because there's a lot of playtesters that are in place that allowed things like the Admech book and the Drakari book in their initial states and the Orc book to come out. And they probably shouldn't have. So, public beta testing playtesters at the moment are essentially alpha testers.
You had one job. 2 wounds CSM. Tears of joy, 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 tears of joy.
Thanks for the super chat, Umbra. The thing is with the 2 wounds CSM on that update is they can't do it. They can't do it without refreshing all the points as well. You can't have a 2 wound Chaos Space Marine that's like 12 points. It just doesn't work. As much as I want 2 wounds for Chaos Space Marines, I genuinely really want them. I just don't think it's that easy to implement as a change. Maybe I'm wrong. Right, okay. Where are we? So public beta testing. B-Mail, I don't disagree with you either necessarily, but that's really, I mean, typically games do a lot. I mean, this is the other thing as well now, right? Let's be honest. Even the video games industry isn't amazing. The new Battlefield came out recently, and I haven't bought a video game in I don't know how long, but the new Battlefield I bought because I'm a huge Battlefield whore. And even that, when it came out, was broken as fuck. Games just don't come out fully working anymore, and 40k is no real difference to that, I think. But I think you're right. Playtesters are alpha testers, and they playtest in a vacuum because everything's so super secret. And sometimes it's not until those rules go out to the wider public, and it takes a Manny or someone like that to go, this and this as a combination is fucking broken. And even playtesters go, I didn't see that.
2 jobs, square bases, not FW crap.
Now, why do people love square bases so much? Fucking don't understand the love for it. I guide others to a treasure I can never possess. Bolt rifles. What's this banter between? Don't you two talk to each other every day anyway? Open it up for more playtesters. Too many cooks. Let's face it. Most of us will not exactly be objective in terms of army rules. Agree. 40k seems to want to be like COD or Battlefield. Loads of issues at launch. Way too much DLC. Panicky with patches. Just rushing to fix things. Keep the cash flow. You know what? That's exactly how they are right now, Minkster. I completely agree. That's exactly how Games Workshop are right now with 40k. And it is how the games industry is. We just spoke about it, right? And yet, that's not...
GW can release power levels and community points.
Brian, can you explain that? You don't have to do a super chat for it, clearly. But if you can explain what you mean by that, I'm interested to know what you mean by that one. But yeah, Minxer, I agree. That's what they should. That's what they are like. That's what the gaming industry is like. Don't know if it's a positive. Bolt Rifle says, how do you feel about the new Custodies rules being teased? I haven't read the teases, so I don't know what they have and haven't shown yet. So I can't comment because I don't want to say something that they haven't yet teased.
What's the army that has the least amount of rules?
That's an interesting question. That's probably something to put to chat. What's the probably Imperial Knights? They're all Titanic.
So, okay. Let's have a look at that. Imperial Knights.
It would also cost us nothing because I've got the whole army here unbuilt.
Have you really?
Yeah. Imperial Knights is big, stompy robots.
What?
So,
Imperial Knights.
You go to Armies of the Imperium. There's a drop down. Unselect everything you've currently got selected.
Okay.
So deselect Orcs. It will reset. Scroll down on the left hand side. It will say Armies of the Imperium.
Oh, there is.
Then it will say Imperial Knights. This is Imperial Knights. They're all Titanic models. They're giant stompy robots.
You've built these.
I've got loads. We've got a whole painted army that you can use that Brom owns, and we've also got another unpainted army of Imperial Knights here that I need to build as well. So.
And they've got the least amount of rules.
They have the least amount of rules because they have the least amount of units. So typically when you take Imperial Knights, you can go to the tabletop with maybe 3 or 4 different units, which means you've only got to learn 3 or 4 different data sheets. That's it.
And a data sheet is A4?
A data sheet is... a data sheet is a unit's entry. So if I show you this book here... This is a data sheet.
Do Chaos Knights as they are cooler.
This is a data sheet. That's one data sheet. So you've got the unit statistics, its weapons, and its special rules on one data sheet. Now this is a book of data sheets. So this particular army has lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of data sheets. I won't count how many, but it's got lots of data sheets. Imperial Knights have 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total. That's it. 8 data sheets in the whole army.
Do I have to use all 8?
Nope, you can go to the tabletop with maybe 3 data sheets if you wanted to.
1? Can I use 1?
Actually, you probably could now, yeah.
Oh, let's do that.
I mean, you're better off with 2, but you probably could use 1.
Are you going to use 1 if I use 1?
Oh, God, no.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, I can't field another army that was not Chaos Knights or Knights that has 1 data sheet. It's just not possible. So.
Okay.
Crashes through the chat wall. God damn it, missed the door. Brilliant. Welcome, Cass. Corn Demons have a few rules, even fewer phases in a turn to learn. That's true, yeah. Sisters of Silence, I feel like they are rules like currently. Brian, company does power levels and community will do the points like specialist games had back in the day. A Yahoo group with the free rules set. That's interesting. Okay, I get that. That is interesting, actually. When I was trying to get the wife into the hobby, was thinking the right army to tempt. It didn't matter because I got a flat no. So I haven't pushed on a door here.
Low unit count army? Blues should get into Custodes rolling on the floor laughing.
But they still have your Tywins. They are low unit count. They have less rules. Still got a lot more rules than Imperial Knights.
I think playtesters should be tournament and non-tournament players.
They are. But you're right, Lehman Russ. I agree, and they are. Interesting. You didn't show the book on stream. I can't show everything I have, John. I'm not allowed to. What have I missed? Liam teaches Lucy could be its own 10-part series. Lucy doesn't want to do it on video. This is just for funsies.
Yeah.
It's just funsies. We're just going to go in the garage and play Strip 40k.
No, we are not.
Oh, why not? Strip 40k not a thing?
Wants Chaos Knights instead, surely. They are cuter.
They're not. What's this? No, what's this love for Chaos Knights? No. Chaos Knights are more complicated than standard knights. I've been honest with her.
Get someone to roll dice for you too.
Yeah, doesn't really want to play the game. Yeah, Chaos Knights are probably cooler than Imperial Knights. I don't disagree, but they are simpler to play. So that's what she wanted. Simpler to play. That's what she's got.
I think I want to start off with the fewest rules, or the smallest books, or the thinnest books, whatever. And then once I can play a game without needing to look at the book, if that ever happens, then go on to the army that's the next biggest.
It's a really good idea. I mean, it's genuinely. This isn't. I'm not even being sarcastic. It's a genuinely good approach to take for a lot of people. A lot of people at the moment will try and come in at AdMech level, and then they get lost and they can't keep up. So, yeah, it's not a bad shout that at all. Mike Swanson, I got a flat no too. A lot of people get no's. I didn't even push against this door. Luce just mentioned it yesterday. I'm thinking I actually would like to play. I'm like, don't act too excited. Don't act too excited.
Be cool, be cool.
Be cool, be cool. How you feeling? Thanks, Kaz. I'm feeling average to okay. I was only going to do an hour, but I'm feeling quite good right now. That's because I slept for about 10 hours last night. So thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it, mate, genuinely. Remove the clothing for every squad lost. Great idea. Yeah, see. I was never interested in Custodes. For some reason, they strike me as 40k RMP. Yeah, they are, yeah. I just thought you and Brom played strip 40k. We do. Brom loses a lot. Luce wants the army. She can spray Korax white.
No, that's the devil's work.
I found it. I found the Korax white the other day. I almost put it back.
Where is it?
When I moved the office around. Where did I put it?
Oh no, it's lost forever.
I put it somewhere so I could put it back up on screen.
No, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. We'll find it. We will find it. Did Luce pick an army? It looks like we're looking at Imperial Knights Vex. We don't know yet. We don't know. Just saying, you could do a 40k for beginners with Steve. We have so Steve and I have filmed a 40k for beginners. We have filmed that. That's a thing. So, Kylan, welcome to the channel, you absolute legend. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Liam and Brom stripped 40k for next Wednesday. Tears of joy.
Thank you so much for joining.
Tears of joy. Tears of joy.
If you fucking tears of joy, you bunch of bastards. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Don't forget ! Discord to come and join Discord. It's the best way to support the channel and support the streams is to become a member. The other best way to support the channel in general is to become a member of DZTV as well. But thank you so much. Don't forget to join Discord. Don't forget to connect your YouTube account to your Discord account in your account settings and then connections so that Discord doesn't boot you out because it won't recognize you. Remember if you haven't done that.
It's 5 units for sisters. They showed the new Knight model today. 3 base models are Troop Elite and Fast Attack now. Plus Alea for HQ. 5 units. Tongue out.
It won't work, Christian, and I can't tell you why it won't. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just make the loser shave. No. Just start with a 500-point army of what you like best. You only need 3 to 4 data sheets anyway. Yeah, so that's the other thing. That's the other thing we do, Luce. Is if you're worried about how many rules, then we just start at super low points. So you can pick any army you want.
Oh no, I get it now. If you're worried about the rules, you just make up your own.
Yeah, just make your own PDF.
I get it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, but you can just play 500 points.
DZTV watch hours update, please.
DZTV watch hours update. Hang on. So you just pick 3 data sheets and play those until you learn them and you know them, and then you add another data sheet, and then you add another data sheet, and you add another data sheet, and over time, that's another good way of doing it. So, agree, top. So DZTV's YouTube channel, the watch hours are currently at 3,792. You lot are smashing it. So we've got 210 hours basically to do on the DZTV channel before we can monetize it. I can start the big plans, which will take me a couple of months to get everything in order. But yes, we're getting there. You lot are helping us get there. Thank you so much for those of you that have had DZ on repeat in the background to get the watch hours up. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm now beginning to wonder, why
Strip
do you
40k to the
game?
angelic voice of MC Jakey.
Why do you all play a game that is very stop-starty if you have to reference the book all the time? I would never play a game of cards or anything if the person I was playing with was forever like, sorry, hold on,
so
I need to check again, because I'd be like, oh,
some of that depends on the army you play. It depends on the player. I played Astra Militarum this weekend. I played 5 games of Astra Militarum. I took all 3 books. I probably got one of the books out, or I probably got a book out to look at a rule over the course of the weekend, maybe 5 times in total over all weekend. Because I know the rules. Because I read them beforehand, I knew the rules. And a lot of people, when they've played their army week in week, so when they first play their army, they'll be reading all the rules. And the second time they play their army, they'll be reading almost all the rules. And the third time, they'll be reading slightly less. And the fourth time, slightly less. And it's repetition, repetition, repetition. And by the time you go to an event, most people will not be pulling their book out because they'll know what they're doing. They'll know what they're doing. I was going to turn this stream off soon. Now they're starting to super chat like they're fucking, like they knew I was going to turn it off.
I'm very tired.
Well, it's up to them, innit? Basically. That suggests Sisters of Complexity and New Custard Creams Codex. Aussie, not confirmed. First we strip the game of its rules, then we remove clothes. Paolo, you're right, yeah, that's what we should do. What if we should bring poster with
I'm
Tears
an
of Joy
idiot.
emojis?
Just get her a Warlord Titan 2k points.
Isn't a Warhound 2k? Isn't a Warlord like 5k?
Just
Maybe.
get loose to play with 3 Chaos Rampagers.
We're not doing
Tears
Chaos
of Joy,
Knights,
Tears
Ambra.
of Joy, Tears of
Jesus,
Joy,
I know how much
Tears
you
of
love your
Joy,
Chaos
Tears of
Knights.
Joy.
Play reverse strip 40k. Start off naked and get more clothes on as you go. Turn off the central heating for motivation to win.
Oh, that sounds awful.
That's amazing. Aega says, just finished watching the Champion of Chaos campaign. That was actually really fun. Just strange watching you, Liam, with the pleb haircut instead of the bob knot. Brilliant, thanks. I'm glad that last one's the pleb haircut, though. At least that's the one, right? Only meta jumpers need to check their rules. Single army players generally don't forget their rules. Exactly, Levarius, right. And that's the thing, right? The more you play your army, the more you use your rules, the more you don't need to check the rulebook anymore. The more that I know the stats for Liam and Russ. I even know the stats for Liam and Russ when they degraded, for Christ's sake. So,
What's the models I've chosen?
yeah, currently you're looking at Imperial Knights, but I'm going to maybe try and talk you out of it. Go on.
Are they push fit?
No, nothing's push fit. Are
Well,
they
that
push
changes
fit?
everything.
Nothing's push fit. They're
But
at,
the Space Marines are push fit.
I can build, if that's an issue, I can build the models for you.
No, because then you'll moan about it.
No, I won't. I need to build them anyway, so
Can I
not a
dip
problem.
them?
No, you can't dip them. You don't want to paint them.
What is Winter's cat name?
Winters' cat name is P90. He has his own fame. P90 was named after a gun he was using on Call of Duty when they got him the cat. When his missus got him the cat. Stony Strike celebrated being a member for 3 months with Judo Chop. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate these memberships. Like I said, this channel doesn't exist without members, or this channel doing what it's doing doesn't exist without members and super chats. So I cannot tell you how grateful I am for every membership that comes through, for every membership that's then kept, and then for every super chat as well. It's really, really, really genuinely appreciated. So
Born
thank you.
To lose, live to win. I think Luce should just go for what army she likes the look of. I tried that. They all look the same.
They don't all look. How
They look
dare you?
The same.
How dare you?
So that's
How
why I
dare
thought
you.
the one with the least amount of rules. How dare I?
How dare you? Minxa says, I'm making a cup of tea. Anyone want one? I do actually want a cup of
Please,
tea.
2 sugars.
I do want a cup of tea. Should we go have a cup of tea in a minute and go to bed?
Yeah, I'm very tired. I think so. I didn't even cycle them both. I only had the smallest on the back of my bike, and I dropped him.
Yeah.
Dropped him in the bike.
Yeah.
And then he came out of Taekwondo, tapping the child's seat, going, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, you're bloody getting on it. It's 1.5 miles. You're not walking.
Lena says, -1 hour to go. I know I haven't reset the goal. I forgot to reset the goal, to be honest with you. And, I mean, it doesn't matter because we haven't made it anyway. The road to full-time November, 300. I mean, originally I wanted 500 by December to be safe in my leaving the factory goal, but you know. Start this off a kill team. Oh god, no, it's a whole new rule set to learn where a triangle means 4 and a square means 2 and all kinds of. Well, fuck that. No. I make it. We've read that. I think Luce should rock road traders if they move from kill team to 40. No, we're not doing that. Who makes the sandwiches in a sister's army? I don't know. Is this a joke? Is this a poor joke that I'm missing? They all look grim dark. Sans Tau. Tau don't look that grim dark though, but they can be painted that way. Castellan wants 1 sugar and milk. Bolt Ruffle says Talon Desert Raiders. No, we're not going for metal armies either, for fuck's sake.
Leave my tea bag in as well, please. Yes, I know there's a tea bag joke.
I didn't say it.
No.
I didn't say it. She said you'll moan over assembling models. That is 90% of assembling is the moaning. It is. You're right. Yeah. Dave B says members will come when you go full time. Well, why? We'll be streaming the same amount of time. That doesn't make sense. But I appreciate the support anyway. Since you didn't get the goals, does that mean you're on the dole for now? Yeah, I'm going to have to go back to work now in January. Tau yawn, brilliant. AOS is the future. I've heard lots of good things about AOS 3, but I've also had lots of bad things about AOS 3.
Let me have a click on Age of Sigma.
I've heard more good than bad. If we were to do AO Sigma, we'd have to learn it together. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Where's Age of Sigma?
Scroll up. Click on Age of Sigma. Top banner next to 40k.
Oh, up.
Yeah, the bayonet gold. Take that one.
That one.
And then the format of the layout is basically the same.
No, we can't learn it together.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you're way smarter than I am. I'll have to read stuff like. No, it's not. You'll just make me feel stupid.
Krabby, welcome to the channel as a member. Thank you so much, mate. Genuinely appreciate this. Like I said to the last guy, don't forget !Discord. Come and join our Discord server. It's full of amazing people, incredible people. And in fact, I'm probably not going to do stream models tonight. Instead, I'm just going to jump in there for 5 minutes, maybe. I honestly think the biggest issue with Admech is their movement phase and remembering who has what relic. Yeah, bit of fancy modelling, you can get away with it. But the other thing with the movement phase, it's not about the relics either. It's about the fact that, like, you pick a Doctriner, and that gives everything a buff, and that gives everything a negative. Then you have to pick a Canticle, and that gives everything a buff. And then you've got Marshals that give out these, and Dominuses that give out that, and something else that gives out something else. And it's just messy, right? It's really hard, and you need to be quite switched on to track what's going. That's if you're the person playing the army. So then you have to be really, really good at explaining it to your opponent so that they can enjoy themselves as well.
What's a header knight?
Head of Knight of Stench?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know AOS very well. I don't know the narrative very well. Mike Swanson says I like AOS. I've heard good things. I have heard bad things, but mostly I've heard good things. Have a look at AOS for Loose Eyelass. There's a Nighthawk army too. I've got a load of AOS models actually. I've got a Lumineth Realm army. The Warhipster Josh, if you haven't checked out the Warhipster, go check out his channel. He's offered to paint the IDNF Deepkin that I've got for me because I don't have the time. So we'll be playing AOS next year. I promise you we'll be playing AOS next year, but it's not my highest priority right now. My highest priority is go full time, get set up with 40k content. Got some cool ideas as well for some extra content for the channel, and for some extra content for DZ, and for some extra genuine, amazing live stream ideas we've got as well, Steve and I, which is quite exciting. Sugar with 3 sugars. Brilliant. That's how he wants to see. FY and kill team. A triangle equals 1. A circle equals 2. A square equals 3. A pentagon equals 6. By the way, whoever made that decision at Games Workshop should be shot. You are 100% right. That is the stupidest fucking system I've ever seen in my life. And the bloke who put that forward must have been on fucking crack. And the bloke who accepted it must have been his last day. What a stupid fucking system. Stupid. And Steve from VT keeps telling me, kill team's amazing, you should give it a go. I mean, that alone, you've just explained to me one reason why I don't want to play it. That's rubbish. Slaves to Darkness are amazing models, go full army to paint and build. Go on.
I feel like Warhammer were reading Roald Dahl when they came up with Sons of Behemat. Yeah,
the Giants.
It just looks like the BFG's nasty brothers.
They're a good army. They're low model count. There's not many data sheets.
Not many. How many's not many? 1?
No.
Oh.
It's like Knights though, like 5 or 6 in total, something like that. Bolt Rifles. My comment was about the weekend. There might have been a yellow card at the weekend. Drama. Admech need tokens. They do. That's right. I could have won umpteen games if I remember Doctrines. I'm going to be chasing some Shinesh for Emperor's Children. Josh is an epic painter. Josh is a great painter. He's got a good Instagram page as well. Check him out. Ginger Steve hates AOS because books. Don't tell him. I mean, he's probably watching, Crypt Chalet. He probably heard me say that now. Tell Luce to look at Caradron Overlords. They're like little space dwarfs.
Are they in Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, Caradron Overlords are in the Order.
Oh, yeah, I found them.
And they're little steampunk dwarfs.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's almost like Ben knows you. I heard AOS improve once they dropped the Bretonians. Have they dropped Bretonians? Kill Team is good though. I'm not a fan personally. Kill Team Fund. Do not start Kill Team Fund. We're not playing Kill Team.
They're really cute, actually.
The Caradron Overlords.
Yeah. How small are they?
I don't know. We'd have to go and have a look. I don't know. Crypt I don't get the shape hate. You could just say inches. Yeah, I would just use. So why do we need the shapes then? If we can just say inches like we do in 40k, why do we need the fucking shapes? Stupid idea. Stupid idea. Which is a shame because that contrast gauge and barricades are pretty fly. Combat gauge and barricades are pretty fly. The combat gauge is nice. It's just stupid. Stop paying. Dave B says, I just can't be bothered to read the fluff
Stop
on AOS.
hating on shapes. Use inches INSTDU Bobnut.
I can't use inches. I don't have many. Yeah, I can't be bothered to read the fluff either. But so I read some fluff for I'd Neth Deepkin. I actually really enjoyed it. Really liked it. I'm going baby pink for my next night, getting ready for the hate of night pages. You do what you want. Those nights are glorious, and I love them.
I think I like the steampunk.
So Born to Lose, Live to Win. I like grade my membership if you do Warhammer for Biff series, both 40k and OS. So we have a Warhammer for Beginners series coming out in DZ, which me and Steve have filmed together. The finishing touches are going to. I'm just waiting for him to give me the content, and then that will be in DZ, and it will be a learn to play. And it starts really from the very basics, takes you through the core of the game, takes you through the fuck you, holy fire. Thank you so much for the super chat, but also fuck you. Takes you through the movement phase, the shooting phase, the psychic phase, etc. So, Judo Choppers can be your kill team name. You're not funny. You're not funny.
Squat fund.
Yeah, so
Is he calling
this
that?
no, this is going to be hard to explain. There used to be a race in 40k. There used to be an army in 40k called squats, and squats were basically space dwarfs. And then they got nerfed. Well, they got nerfed. They didn't get nerfed. They got nuked. They got taken out of the game altogether and removed from 40k, and they don't exist anymore. And certain people keep screaming for squats to return to 40k. And they want squats to come back. And there's apparently rumours out there that squats are coming back. And Caradron Overlords are kind of like squats, but they're AOS instead of 40k. Is the long and short of that. That's it.
That wasn't hard to explain.
But it's just... Ginger Steve, I don't hate AOS or books.
I think I prefer Age of Sigmar to 40k.
Depth Walker, if she likes steampunk, she might like Mechanicus. I mean, if you want to teach her the rules for that army, you are welcome to.
Mechanicus.
I would rather not.
Is that 40k?
You know that army that I said to you today is the most one of the most complicated armies in 40k to master, and you shouldn't go anywhere near it?
Is that it?
That's Mechanicus.
Right, where's Mechanicus?
Armies of the Imperium, Adeptus Mechanicus.
No, they look Space Marine-y.
Poor squats. Squats kick ass. Space midgets. They don't exist anymore until next year. Well, not confirmed. Squats for the meme god. Squats will come back. Why does everyone love squat? I don't understand the love for squat. I've never understood the love for squats. I don't get it. Born to lose, live to win. Thank you, Sir Demps. What's that for? What do you thank me for there?
Just for being you.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. I'm hoping that's the case. Thank you.
Can we go to bed now, please?
They keep super chatting. As long as they keep super chatting, I'll stay here. Honest.
Go hexagon yourself. KT Fund. Play with Steve.
No, I want to play fucking. I don't want to play with Steve. He wants me to come and play Kill Team with him. I don't want to play with Steve.
Caradron Overlords Fund.
See what you've started now. There's funds for things that probably were courage.
For fun.
I also love the fact you lot. And I'm not criticising and I'm not whinging at all because I'm supremely grateful for every super chat and every membership, as I've said before. But I love the fact that you all know how much Games Workshop costs, and we're doing funds for models for £2. Like 10 of those, and we don't have a model. Space Dwarfs with guns. 10 minutes. It's so simple. 6-sided shape is 6 inches. 4-sided is 4 inches. Wait, no. Someone at GW needs to go back to primary school. You are not wrong. It's the beards and the bikes. What's Ben say? It's the beards and the bikes too. Squats for life. Admac was my first army in 8th. Glad I don't own them anymore. Yeah, they're complicated now, right? They're complicated now.
I'm literally boiling the kettle.
Are you making tea?
Yes, I'm making tea. If by the time it boils you're still sat there, I'm not making you one.
Make me tea, please. Make me tea and I'll come to bed. Promise. Lucky, isn't she? Lucky. Luke's go to bed, leave him here losing his mind. That's what she'll do. That's what. Go to bed, you will crash being ill. No, it's fine. We'll be fine. And I've got...
Go to bed.
I've got live battle report in DZ tomorrow night as well. I can't not do that because Winters will tell me off if I don't do a battle report in DZ. Right. She is right. We do need to go to bed. It's later than I wanted it to be. Thank you, Holy Fire, for the super. You're all fucking amazing, by the way. I do need to get some med down though. So I did say I was only going to do an hour tonight because I've not been very well the last couple of days. So now's time for that hour to end. an hour and 20 minutes in. Need to keep her happy, right? Anyway, if you've enjoyed the stream, think about clicking the like button. Only 42 so far. I'm very, very grateful to those 42 people, but think about clicking the like button. If you've loved the stream and you're not yet a member, think about becoming a member. You can exclamation mark member in the chat and come and join us, and you can jump in our incredible Discord server full of legends, full of heroes. So please think about becoming a member to the channel, because I need you. I need members. I need people supporting us so we can keep doing this full time. Got some amazing things coming in the new year that I'm super excited about. Can't wait to share them all with you. I can't give a lot of it away now because it would spoil the surprise, etc. But, you know, some exciting stuff coming. So that's about everything. That's all I've got for you. So I'm going to leave now. I'm going to leave the stream running for 2 minutes whilst Luce makes tea. If you're not a member, sign up. Come and be a member. All of you. Who's looking at people like you, Chroma Cypher? Come be a member. All right? Thank you so much, everyone.
Go to bed.
I will see you tomorrow on DZ's Battle Report stream. And if I don't see you tomorrow on DZ's Battle Report stream, I'll see you Friday, 9:30 for beer and banter. Hopefully by then I'll be well enough to drink plenty of beer with you all. Love you all.
Sleep fun.
See you next time. Stop the funs. Stop the funs. Thank you very much.